Hi, this is Caitlin, and this is my mind map for explanatory writing for English grade 9. I'd first like to start with the importance of mentor texts. Obviously, we read a lot in an English class, and the mentor text that I've selected for this particular piece is, I'm pretty sure, going to be Of Mice and Men. It's important for students to understand how to read a text, how to decode it, also interpret what's explicitly being said, as well as taking a look at theme and symbolism. I also think that talking about the book in class with me, at home with their parents, also really helps them to understand a lot of the important elements of what's happening. And once again, just taking a deeper look, going beyond what's said in the text, and looking for kind of like the bigger picture. The second area on my mind map includes pre-writing. So, the first thing to do before even beginning pre-writing is to interpret the task and to make sure that students understand what's being asked of them. A lot of times students think they know what to do and they don't read fully and they just rush right into the task. So I think that's really important, pulling out, circling, underlining words, so this way they know exactly what they should do in the next step, which is to organize their ideas. I put two different ideas, mind maps like what we're doing here, and also outlines. I like to give students freedom for how they like to organize their ideas. I give them outlines sometimes that are a little bit more structured. I have some students that really struggle to get their ideas down. Other students are well beyond that and they can just do it on their own. So I have a wide variety, especially this year. My next area topic is enormous, so pardon me. It's organization, and I broke that down into several subtopics which have their own subtopics. So the first under organization I put was flow. I think that's really important when students reread their papers, also when they're constructing sentences, that the information flows in a logical order. I'm also big on the flow being smooth without those short, choppy sentences that kind of stunt the understanding of the paper. The second subtopic is transitions, effective transitions, and it's important to have those between paragraphs and also between ideas within paragraphs. That's an area that I've been working on with students this year. They're really good with finding great transitional words and phrases between paragraphs, but between different ideas, they struggle. My next area is conclusion. I know this is going a little bit backwards, but I made this a big section, sorry. The conclusion, it's important that they tie the ideas together, and I like for it to end with a final insight, which is an if-then statement. So it kind of just allows the writer to consider some other possibilities beyond what they explored in the paper, which is sort of nice because they might still be wondering about an area, and that's okay. Moving on to introduction. The introduction, the purpose is to establish a purpose for the paper. Another subcategory involves a hook, which is to interest the reader in the topic. My students right now tend to use rhetorical questions, and I've been really trying to get away from that and teach them different tactics and strategies to, avoid the using questions. The next part of the introduction is the thesis. It's the argument that the writer intends to prove, and it should be specific. This is definitely an area that I want to work on with my students. They struggle with this quite a bit. They know what they want to do, but it's the wording that gets them. So either it's not specific enough or it's way too long. So this is definitely a consideration for one of my lessons. The largest area on the organization chart includes body paragraphs, which it has 3 subtopics. So I'm going to start with topic sentences. Topic sentences introduce the topics of each paragraph. Believe it or not, even in 9th grade, I still have students who either do not include topic sentences or they they don't actually introduce what the paragraph is about, so that's another area to work on. It should support the thesis, and it should be specific. The next area is textual support. This gives evidence that proves the thesis, which comes in the form of supporting details for our English class. It includes specific details that are relevant to the thesis. It excludes extraneous information. I call it plot summary. A lot of times that's a big area that students struggle with. They retell the story instead of analyzing, and they explain the significance of the details through analysis rather than just throwing the idea in and moving on to the next topic. The last part on this is quotes. This is something, another consideration for one of my lessons, selecting quotes that actually matter, and introducing quotes, as well as analyzing and properly citing them. My students throw them in and don't introduce them or explain them. A lot of times they select quotes that are irrelevant, so I would really like to work on that as one of my lessons. The next category is format and style that I thought about when thinking about explanatory writing. The first subcategory is MLA style, which include margins, heading, spacing, font, citations, and works cited page. We're still really working on that a lot. They just need to be reminded, that's all. Grammar, which includes spelling, punctuation, and usage. You know, even though we have spell check, which is a great thing, students really have to go back and take a look at the words that they're choosing to put in, because sometimes they use the wrong form of it, or it's not picked up on spell check. The next category is language. For explanatory writing, language should not include personal pronouns. They should use a varied word choice. It should be formal, concise, and clear. And one of my favorite parts to teach about writing when it comes to language is not using what we call no-no words. No-no words are vague, and they're words such as thing, something, anything, someone, somewhere, stuff, words that lead you nowhere, that don't tell you any information. The next category is revision, which is another big topic. And